speaks no wisdom, and I won't listen. I'm so consumed by the noise.
All right, today we're sitting down with Carey Fountain, who has done something that was super cool, super creative. Created a 12-month playlist to, I guess, want to like embody a certain message to tell a certain story. Kind of break down to us exactly what this project is, what it means to you, how did it come about? Kind of talk to us about that.
This all kind of came about, it just kind of felt like the natural progression of what I've been doing. I've been trying to figure out what it is that, like where my art is taking me, because I've been into music from the very beginning, and then that kind of led to me being into different forms of art. I think the puzzle motif is something that has always kind of been consistent. In 2023, I wasn't really making as much music, and when I'm not, I realize it's kind of like a self-therapy for me, so when I'm not, I start to feel like depressed. So I told myself for 2024, I wanted to push myself to make a song each month about a theme, because, in my opinion, you got to do things that make you uncomfortable and challenge yourself. And so that's kind of how it started, is I just wanted to put all my focus into making one song every month that related to a theme that may feel distant from my personal life, but still somehow form a connection with that theme.
Okay, cool. Something that you said that you wanted to do something challenging, and this had to be challenging for sure.
Oh yeah.
Each song has its own mood, its own vibe. Each one feels like its own thing, and that's kind of like the idea of it, since each one is kind of focused on a different topic from each month, from Thanksgiving to Christmas, to starting a new school year, July 4th, all of the different things that go around our yearly cycle of life. You were able to capture a specific moment from those time periods.
It became challenging because each month would come up and I'd be like, oh man, I got to do a song this month, what I'm going to do?
So these weren't pre-recorded, this
No.
was in the month.
This was in the month.
Gosh.
Because I wanted it to also be like, feel real to that moment of time.
Okay.
And then the video was a whole nother piece, because there's a few times I'm like, oh, you being too hard on yourself. You ain't got to make a video also. But I had started, and then it kind of, the whole process was just, I guess, committing to something and seeing it through. And then once I kind of like put that pressure on myself, like, hey, you said you're gonna do this. You said this to you made an agreement with yourself that you was gonna do this. Then it just became a thing like, I had to figure something out. I had to do it. I had to put my head down and go at it.
Did you produce the beats behind the songs as well? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you produced the beats,
Yeah.
wrote all the songs,
Yeah.
and then shot the video, because I'm assuming you shot the videos yourself. So you did all of that.
Each month.
Each
and
month.
the clothes. And the
clothing.
Yeah.
Because each month has a specific theme for the clothing as well.
Yeah.
That was a lot to tackle. That was a lot of work. I'm kind of jumping forward, but whenever I do something that's pretty difficult, I get kind of overwhelmed with sadness. Did you face any of that upon completion of this project?
Yeah, there were definitely moments. Yeah, it was definitely it would be overwhelming, but I started to get it down to a process. And that's why, like, the clothing designs and the beats and the song would all kind of come at the same time. So a lot of times what I would do is, it would more, like sometimes the stuff would be late. I wouldn't put a song out until sometimes the very end of the month, or sometimes the next month. I mean, I also didn't want to just throw anything together. I didn't want it to be half complete. So it kind of feel like it was a lot of trusting. There was a lot of trust in myself. And I learned a lot through that. And it gave me a lot more confidence about just believing in myself. Because ultimately, sometimes that's what it would come down to. I'd be like, I don't really know, but I'm gonna do it. Like the Echoes of the East song in May, that was tough because I wanted to make something authentic, but I also didn't want to make something appropriative. I didn't want to appropriate a culture. So that was the first time I had a real conversation with myself. I'm like, well, the only way you can talk about like Asian culture is through the lens of being a Black person. And then I started doing research about different activists in Asian communities and started thinking about the similarities, and then that made it easy and more approachable, you know?
Yeah, because the Asian and Black community share a lot of similarities, and a lot of both parties have adapted a lot of the other parties' kind of culture and I won't say beliefs, but kind of enjoyments or activities of enjoyment. I mean, even down to cooking, you know, a lot of things we share in common. I was listening to a guy of Asian culture a couple of, maybe like earlier this week or last week, talk about once the Black community and the Asian community realize we have the same oppressor, you know, then true change can begin. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think, and I never really thought about it from this perspective until making the song.
Okay.
And also kind of realizing that, you know, when you look at Asian culture and you look at, you know, Black people as well, I think we're one of the minorities that people can look at from far away and say, okay, that's a Black person, that's an Asian person.
Right.
And then there's so much cultural contributions that we both have given to American society that gets overlooked.
For sure.
And we all kind of we all walk in our truth. And, you know, you see a lot of, I mean, recently too, I mean, there was different, there's been a lot of cases throughout history of discrimination and racism and hate crimes against Asian communities. And I think, you know, when you kind of put it into perspective of also the similarities that, you know, the various things that we've seen within the Black community over the years, it gets very real that a quote unquote minority, which I also think is a funny word, because when you look at the global world in general, when you look at global society, there's really, you know, really white people are the minority.
Yeah.
And it just made me kind of think about the unity amongst races.
New beginnings, yeah. New beginnings, yeah. New beginnings, yeah. New beginnings, gotta love these new beginnings. Yeah.
So the first track,
Yeah.
New Beginning, obvious for the title, is the beginning of the year, as it is now when we're recording this. What does a new beginning mean to you?
Yeah, so I think we all kind of go through, what I noticed in New Beginnings was I was reflecting a lot on where I wanted to be and where I was currently in my life. And I was just realizing how we all deal with that. Like we all kind of go through this, you know, we want a clean slate. New year, clean slate, we start new. You know, we also face the realizations of things the year before that we set our minds to. Maybe we fell short of that. Maybe we make these new commitments about wanting to, I don't know, go to the gym or learn a new language. And that first month, you know, you see people really going hard with that, but what does it mean to be consistent in that? And I think in this case, part of it was this project for me, because I kind of made that commitment within the month of January. And I think, you know, New Beginnings, yeah, it's really starting fresh and realizing that ultimately life is cyclical, it's a circle, you know, so the clock starts back at zero and it keeps going, and you have a new fresh start, new beginning. And but also too, I think it's important to take what you learned in the past and bring that into this new chapter in life, you know.
Gotcha.
So.
All right, and like we stated earlier, each month, along with the song and his video, also has a clothing design behind it as well. We'll talk about the Octo Horizon design for January.
Yeah. So I'm wearing the beanies for it, but the octopus is my favorite animal.
Okay.
I've got an octopus right here. Octopus, I like to play around with octopus because I think octopus are just fascinating because they're extremely intelligent, they're adaptable, they can change colors. Also, an octopus will sacrifice itself to, it'll eat itself to when it's stressed, thinking it's saving itself.
Wow.
So to me, that's just really interesting that you have this really intelligent animal that will, you know, ultimately is willing to go to the most extreme form of sacrifice in order to save itself.
Like an oxymoron or a paradox in a sense.
Yeah.
Trying to save itself by killing itself.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. So I was just playing with the octopus motif,
Gotcha.
and the horizon was just kind of like, you know, this is a new horizon, new chapter.
All right. In the track, New Beginnings, you rap, got a new foundation to build from, still run every time I think that I feel nothing. I'm too desensitized and this all feels systemized. Kind of elaborate on this line. It's a pretty deep line for sure.
I was feeling numb, but I also, again, I was realizing that the ways that I was feeling were ways a lot of people were feeling. And I think, you know, a lot of it is with social media, or just content consumption. We live in an age now of just constantly consuming information and constantly consuming. And I was saying, you know, I had a new foundation to build from, you know, but I still run every time I feel nothing, because I'm suffering from this need to constantly feel some kind of stimulation in this world, you know, and sometimes I think we trick ourselves into thinking there's no growth happening because we're not having that fast food stimulation, that we're not able to go through the drive-thru and get a meal in 5 minutes. Sometimes a good cooked meal takes hours to make, and that's kind of what, and I feel like it's systemized. Like part of me is questioning if this is all
some elaborate plan.
Yeah, some plan, some elaborate plan to keep us, you know, not striving for our highest potential. You know, yeah.
So, what are you running to? You say, or you say you're running. Where are you running to?
Well, I'm trying.
Or are you running from something?
I think I meant like running from fear, you know, running, you know, and this year was me trying to overcome that feeling of like the fast way, the convenient way out.
Okay.
Like, you know, working on a project that is impossible. I mean, really, this is a multi-year project, even because this next year is the second part of it. But like, I think patience is something that I've struggled with, and still struggle with in life, and just learning how to just be patient and be happy and content and feel like you already are enough is something that, you know, I've definitely, I think, struggled with, and I know it's wrong to not think you're enough. So I think that line, I'm kind of running from that, you know, that hard work that I know is ahead in order to get the change and have that new beginning. I know there's all this work that got to be done. I'm gonna have to go hit the gym and focus and put my mind to it, and that's hard.
All right, we're gonna move on to the roots of love. February obviously has a love sentiment because of Valentine's Day. It seems to hit on two different areas of love. The first one was the love you share between you and your family, you and your loved ones. And the second love was like an empowering love, one for black people. Is that an accurate picture? Okay.
We gotta break free, but these roots contain me. Yeah, these are my roots, and they deep down for you. Your rich brown skin completes your profound aura, and this is a
I never thought about it before working on the song, but how February is also the month of love, but it's also Black History Month. I just thought it would be interesting to kind of explore that and make a love song, you know, kind of connecting that. And I also was about to propose to my now fiance, and I knew I was gonna do that. She didn't know, of course, but like I knew I was gonna do that. So a lot of it, I was like, how is it possible to make a song that is encompassing all of this stuff? And that's kind of how it came about.
Yeah, I like that your son was very prominent in this song.
Yeah.
He had a lot of key moments in the How did he enjoy being a part of this project? Because he was through majority of this project. He was a prominent figure in this project. How did he feel about being a part of this, or did you talk to him about it?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to him. He's so kind of used to like me doing, you know, music, and so it was more so one of those situations. I was like, "Hey, Case," and I was like, "What you think?" I was like, "You wanna rap the song?" Because he was picking up the words.
Gotcha.
And so I thought it was kind of cool it would be kind of cool to have him. And I try to just show, I put my son in a lot of it, because a lot of times I be with my son, and he's like one of my best friends, you know? So I try to put him in where it's appropriate. I also don't try to, because sometimes he don't want to do, he's like, "Dad, I don't feel like doing it." So I don't want to be a Joe Jackson and like, you know what I'm saying, force him.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
So, yeah.
And you spoke on being recently engaged.
Yeah.
And so obviously this was a inspiration behind this song as well. Did you propose to her before the song was out or after?
So I proposed to her after the song. Like, we did the whole video and everything. I just asked her to be in this video. And she's kind of the same way too. She'll be like, "All right, if you need my help," you know, but, you know, like they kind of, cause I was doing it so much, and, you know, and every month, like, "I gotta make a video, I need your help." So, you know, she kind of did it, and I, like, whenever I get her, cause she was in, I think, 2 videos, but I was just trying to, I try to create I don't want her to, because if she starts feeling nervous or self-conscious or thinking too much about the camera being there, so it was just, we were just having a good time. I just, you know, we were literally talking about how much we appreciate each other in the video. So yeah, I proposed to her after we went to New Orleans. Her birthday's on the 17th of February.
So right before Valentine's Day.
Right, but yeah.
Or right after, right? 14th.
Yeah, right after, yeah.
Yeah.
So we went, we go to New Orleans at least once a year. That's kind of like that's our place. And we never been to Mardi Gras. So, you know, for her birthday, she wanted to go to Mardi Gras, and Valentine's Day was like after Mardi Gras. I was like, well, if we can make it through Mardi Gras and not break up, it must be official. You know? And
for sure.
It was Valentine's Day on the next day, and we did it there, and you know, and it was just, I knew why I did the song, and she realized afterwards. She was like, "Oh, okay, that was kind of cool. You did it like that."
All right, so She Reigns. This song immediately makes you want to dance. Like, I'm not even a dancing person, but every time we come on, I'm ready to shuck and jive or whatever.
That's dope.
Turn up, como te llamo. When she move, I follow. She smooth as piano. Yeah, she rains.
Why Latin? Why did you go with a Latin theme for this track?
That's a good question. So this one was tough. This one took a while, because I was also trying to be real with myself. I'm like, look, if you're trying to empower women, like, you got to ask women, you got to get opinions from women about what you're doing. And so the clothing designs were tough, because everything, I probably went through 100 different ideas, and it was no. And I was like, okay. I did a dress and like a little pocket book thing.
Yeah, like a fanny pack.
Fanny pack, you know, and I wanted it to actually be something that a woman will wear. So, because what I like is not apparently not what they thought looked nice.
Right.
So with the song, I was like, all right, how do you make a song? Because I wanted it to be uplifting women, but I didn't want it to be too deep. Like, you know, it just needed to be something catchy, vibey, but I also don't want to be telling them to twerk and, you know what I mean, or make it super sexual.
Right.
Because I'm like, that defeats the whole purpose.
Whole purpose of empowering them.
Yeah. So I really struggled with trying to figure out what kind of angle to go with the beat. And I don't know how Latin came up, but, well, we have gone to, me and Shay, we do salsa every once, we haven't done it in a minute, but we used to go to salsa classes. And I just feel like that kind of music it just makes you want to dance. So I was like, okay, that'll be kind of a cool angle. You know, approach it with like a Latin vibe with the song, and then the lyrics were just, I think there was really only one verse in there. The second verse was just repeating like the same stuff, and then I tried to put horns in there to kind of make it.
Yeah, the horns were a nice touch, a very nice touch on the horns for sure.
Yeah,
so you added the horns in there yourself, right? Mm-hmm. What did you use, like a kind of like a beat machine or something?
Yeah, so I use Logic, and I used it. Sometimes I pull samples and stuff.
Gotcha.
And yeah, I just kind of, I was like, all right, something to make women dance. And then with the video, I made the decision. I was like, I shouldn't be in it. I shouldn't be in it at all. Because what am I going to do in the video? Like have a bunch of girls around me, you know what I mean? Because that defeats the whole purpose. Yeah. So I had my 2 friends, Rosa Delgado and Lydia Walker, 2 very close friends. And I don't know how, we was like, let's just go to a skating ring and let me just like film y'all having fun at the skating ring.
Yeah.
And that was basically it, and I kept talking to Shay about it too, and she kept stressing to me, you don't need to do all that. And I kept trying to do all these like symbolisms. She's like, that ain't fun, like, we don't want that. Girls they don't want all that like being lectured and, you know. So that's how it came about.
She rains on everything. She rains on everything. She rains on everything. She rains on everything. She rains on everything.
All right. So April is a world of waste.
Yeah.
Why that? Why did you go with a world of waste for April?
Well, so April is Earth Month.
Earth Month, okay.
And you know, after She Rains, this was the first month I was like, what's the topic gonna be? And I started kind of like, what happens in April? And that was something. The environment is a big focus in April. It was kind of scary to me to try to make a song about pollution sound cool. I'm like, how can I do that? Like,
okay.
So I had to do a lot of research. And it was alarming, you know, like humans, like right now we're in a mass extinction and it's all caused by humans. It's like the 5th mass extinction. Before that, it was only things like the Ice Age. And like 33% of our soil is completely useless and it's because of humans.
Wow.
There's basically no turning back. And I thought, cause that's, climate change and the environment is one issue that I think it's weird to me how people don't stress about that as much. Because if we have no planet, then we,
cease to exist.
Yeah, we cease to exist. And right now we're basically, it's over with. You know, there's no coming back. Because and there's tons of people trying to do the right things, but people aren't adopting it. And I'm also realizing, in the song, I'm realizing that about myself.
Trying to find my place in this world of waste. Build a dumpster from a lake. Yeah, we in this world of waste. Destroy planets till our fate. We in this world of waste. There ain't no place we can escape, so we gon' move to outer space. I hope these Brita filters fix it so I can keep on acting ignorant. Fueling our addiction and recycle to forgiveness.
I'm realizing that about myself. I'm kind of like, yeah, you talking all this, but at the end of the day, you still gonna do this. You still gonna go use straws for your drinks. You still gonna, throw trash away and not recycle when you shouldn't. And
use an iPhone.
And
drive a car. All of these different things that are definitely hurt. But like you said, we're too far gone at this point.
Yeah.
There's no turning back at this point. So do you feel like that's why people kind of just don't care? It's like we're already too far gone. In fact, in one of the verses you say, we're trying to basically occupy outer space.
Oh yeah.
We're kind of out of space. So now we're going into outer space.
Yeah.
What do you think that's the fix, to move to another planet? Do you think?
I don't. I think it's kind of insane to think about, because when I think about going to Mars or whatever, how can the Earthling live on Mars. Like, to me, it just seems absurd that that's what we're kind of thinking is the solution. I think, I think people don't think about the earth as a living organism. And I like to think about it like all the living things on the earth are kind of like our cells in our body. The trillions of cells in our body are like kind of living, and we all have a purpose and function. And I wonder what human beings' purpose is in that, because honestly, we've destroyed it. We see ourselves as the highest species, as the highest life form, and over everything. But like, what do we do beneficial to our planet? Except extract it, destroy it, and that was a lot of the thinking that went into it. I wanted the beat. This was actually the only song, the beat, I actually had this beat previously. Like, I made this beat a few years ago, randomly for this Brazilian, this dude in Brazil. I was trying to make something for him. And I just thought it sounded really gritty and alarming and hard. And so I wanted the song to be alarming and feel like that.
Gotcha, because it does feel a lot different than the other tracks on the song.
Yeah.
Was this the hardest song to rap on?
I think the hardest part on it was more so the research, like, 'cause I wanted to actually be talking about real stuff and be accurate. So it was more so, trying to rhyme certain facts and make it sound catchy in a song.
Okay.
That was kind of hard to write it. Yeah, writing it was hard. The video, we went to a landfill, which was also just the act of doing that. Like, the nearest landfill is about 45 minutes away from where I stay, and how far they keep it in the middle of nowhere, but how huge and desolate it is. And it's the stuff that people throw away is just crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So that was World of Waste. That was when I started to feel like, all right, this project. I started to feel a lot more confident about taking on crazier topics, and I think that kind of transitioned to May, where I was like, okay, May's AAPI month, and I'll make a song about, Asian culture.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you can hear these echoes of the east. This piece has been unleashed from the fools that we feast to the culture that's released from Lisa Ling to Dalip Singh to Jet Li to Yao Ming. We gon' hear these echoes to Beijing. Yeah, hey, you can hear these echoes of the east. This piece has been unleashed from the fools that we feast to the culture that's released from Bruce Lee to Bo Petit to sushi to barriers break like karate.
Now, and Echoes of the East was my favorite.
Oh, word.
Yeah, that definitely was my favorite.
Okay.
But it changed maybe like a week ago to, what is it? Gather Round.
Yeah.
That track is beautiful. I love that one. We'll jump to that one a little bit later.
That's my favorite too.
Okay, yeah, that was so dope.
Like the Echoes of the East song in May, that was tough because I didn't want to make, I wanted to make something authentic, but I also didn't want to make something appropriative. I didn't want to appropriate a culture. Right. So that was the first time I had a real conversation with myself. I'm like, well, the only way you can talk about like Asian culture is through the lens of being a Black person. And then I started doing research about different activists in Asian communities and started thinking about the similarities. And then that made it easy and more approachable,
Yeah, because the Asian and Black community share a lot of similarities, and a lot of both parties have adapted a lot of the other parties' kind of culture and I won't say beliefs, but kind of enjoyments or activities of enjoyment. I mean, even down to cooking. How do you think the Asian and the African American community? How do you think we can merge this barrier, this gap that's been created?
I think if we both just kind of learn to embrace each other's cultures. I've always had an appreciation for Asian culture. I just think it's really interesting. From some of the spiritual beliefs, their attention to detail is really just fascinating to me. Yeah, also fashion, all that. I just think they have a really good eye for aesthetic and just kind of really innovative in how they approach things.
Sway, and break away from the hate and the pain.
look at Asian culture and you look at, Black people as well, I think we're one of the minorities that people can look at from far away and say, okay, that's a Black person, that's an Asian person.
Right.
And then there's so much cultural contributions that we both have given to American society that gets overlooked.
For sure.
And we all walk in our truth. There's been a lot of cases throughout history of discrimination and racism and hate crimes against Asian communities. And I think, when you kind of put it in the perspective of also the similarities that, the various things that we've seen within the Black community over the years, it gets very real that a quote unquote minority, which I also think is a funny word, because when you look at the global world in general, when you look at global society, there's really, really white people are the minority.
Yeah.
And it just made me kind of think about the unity amongst races. And I think, if we just learn to appreciate each other, not appreciate different cultures and be open to different cultures and different foods and different ways people do things, I think that can go a long way. Same thing on, Asian people getting an appreciation, understanding of, Black culture. And we start to exist and coexist, I think it'll naturally kind of happen. I think that's the key ultimately to any kind of, to create unity, you need understanding and you just need love of differences.
Echoes, yeah. I just wanted to, take some time to show my appreciation for my Asian brothers and sisters across the world.
All right, so we're moving on to June. And June it was like a double whammy, or so to speak.
Yeah.
Firstly, you had the unapologetically proud, which you're not in the LGBTQA.
I'm not in the LGBTQ community.
But you made a track letting them know that it's okay to be who they are. How difficult was that track to make as a straight male?
It wasn't super difficult. It was more so it took me not feeling like I had to fit within a narrative of what society may want me to be. I couldn't be I went to the Pride Festival and I got some clips there and even the clothing line and wearing it out. I still wear some of the designs out and they have a rainbow pride flag on there. And people may see me in it and may think, oh, maybe he's part of that community. And I guess freeing myself from thinking that doesn't bother me at all. And it shouldn't. And I think that's part of what I was doing with the song. So it kind of felt really good to make that song because it just made me realize how stupid it is that how people were so concerned with ultimately how people choose to be intimate. Yeah. And who they choose to be intimate with. Yeah. Because honestly, it's none of our business. At all. It's none of our business at all. And the song was just meant to be, it was definitely a house-inspired song. Yeah. I didn't really say too much on the song. I was really just having a lot of fun. And that's exactly how I would describe it. A lot of fun. It has a lot of character, a lot of bouncing around. And just being proud, just being fun. Yeah. I definitely enjoyed that track.
Yeah, I'm unapologetically proud. I'm just unapologetically proud. Yeah, I'm unapologetically proud. I'm just unapologetically proud. You so sexy.
Make it look easy. I make it look easy. I make it look easy. I make it.
All right, so June was Fathers of Change. Yeah. All right, what does being a father of change mean to you? Why is it important to be a father of change?
Yeah, I mean, I think, being a Black father, and as you know, there's all kind of traps out there to remove fathers from our lives. There's a whole stigma around about how black fathers aren't around, which, you know, I know out of all the black men I know that have kids, they're in their kids' lives. Now, they may not be with their mother, but they still care about being in their kids' lives and take it really seriously. So a lot of that, the song was about that for me, was about realizing, hey, it's Father's Day, but also too thinking about June being the month of Juneteenth and Black liberation. And I do think it's very, very important. The Black family is probably one of the most important, if not the most important, piece for Black liberation. And I think we gotta, you know, if you are a dad or you have a child, you need to step up and try to be there. Because, you know, I think it's an important role. I think about how my dad was in my life. He wasn't always the best, but at the end of the day, I'm very appreciative he was there. And growing up dealing with it, I mean, there were moments where I thought he was the meanest man in the world, you know, but at the end of the day, now that I'm a father myself, I understand how important it is to raise a young Black man and how hard and he would tell me growing up all the time, he'd be like, you're gonna understand when you grow up what it means to be a Black man in America. Because I was naive to it as a kid. I had this mentality of like, almost like I don't see color, you know, I just thought they were talking, because my dad's, you know, he's from the Deep South and they grew up dealing with hardcore racism. So he would tell me that, and then of course you get older and you see it, and it kind of makes it to where now in my son's life, I wanna be a father of change in that I want to, for one, break the stigma about Black fatherhood not being a thing, or Black fathers not being in their kids' lives, and I also want to change what some things I wish my father did better. I want to make it a point to do that in my kid's life.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha. The clothing for June's Father's Change was really bold. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, I didn't think it needed too much. I thought it just needed to be simple. So they were just black T-shirts, and they all had different. There was one for a father and one for the youth, and there would be different sayings. Like one would say, the adult one would say nurturing greatness, and then the kid one would say like becoming great. So they were just something you could wear while you're with your child.
Gotcha.
Generational curses, stop myself from overwork. I'm learning from my mistakes. True strength could never break. My dad was never perfect, and I ain't. Ay, fathers change. A change. Yeah, they change. Yeah, change. Give me one good reason why my heart could never try. I cannot ever lie. No, this love can't be disguised. Fathers change.
The next track is Class Act.
Yeah.
All right. One big thing that's going on right now is the threat of the Board of Education being defunded. And then the track you say, I'm guessing on these Scantrons.
Oh, yeah.
Because I learn, I do the best when it's hands-on.
Yeah.
I enjoy art class, but they took it away.
Yeah, the funding's gone.
Yeah. So just talk about how kids are kind of forced into this role of pretty much guessing their way through to mark these boxes through school.
Yeah, I think the education system is a complete failure. I mean, I think, of course, if you're a doctor or if you're a lawyer, I mean, there's a certain amount of documentation and things you need to know and understand in order to do your job, which, okay, I understand that piece of it. But now with the internet, smartphones, it's not necessarily about what you know, it's about what you can memorize and recite on a Scantron, or also how well you can get away with cheating, how well you can hide your phone between your legs and Google the answers.
Right.
And ultimately, the person who can do that best is the winner.
Right.
I don't think we talk about teaching thinking critically anymore, which I think is a huge problem. I find myself doing this. I'll be in spaces or circles where I may have an idea or a thought that may go against what's politically correct or acceptable, but it's a genuine, like, critical thought that I have that I want to discuss so I can get clarity to know if my ideas or beliefs, like just to understand, like, and I think we live in a world now more than ever where if you question things, it's frowned upon. You can get in trouble. They can't even teach true history in schools now. It's politicized. They call it critical race theory, you know? And it's like you can't even have a truth-based conversation no more. Everything's too political. And I think and if you look at the numbers, our kids are we're one of the richest countries in the world with some of the worst education systems.
For sure. And in it, you said you're not politically correct.
Yeah.
You're with your First Amendment, your freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Isn't that pretty interesting that being politically correct strips away your freedom of speech in a sense? You can't say what we want to say, but to uphold this political religion.
Yeah,
we're foregoing our freedom of speech to be right, to be politically correct, which is weird. Really weird thing.
It's really weird, and it kind of makes you wonder why. Is this also some master plan also to get people to? Because when you don't think critically, man, I'm just a huge proponent of critical thinking. Like I don't care what people believe in. I don't care if you think the earth is flat. If you can tell me why you think the earth is flat, that's the most important thing to me. Yeah. It's not about, now if you just can tell me the earth is round, but you can't tell me why it's round, I have no respect for your way of, it's hard for me to respect how you think because you haven't really internalized it.
Completely agree with you.
Yeah, this class act is fake. Yeah. Hey, we write our future on these chalkboard walls. Watch it all fade when the truth's involved. Teachers are expected to raise the next. We value what they do, but still pay them less. Stick curriculum tests, so we study and stress to prepare for the real world. Graduate with regret. Yeah. I wish I could've learned about credit way sooner. Cause now I'm in debt to a baby boomer. I wasn't taught to be free, I was made a consumer. And my teachers weren't wrong, they just had to maneuver, Get told how to tutor and let us learn from a computer. While kids lose all of their focus, drift off in psychosis, ADD diagnosis, something needs to provoke us, More of us need to go take some notice. How we change the system that showed us. Maybe we taught to stay in hypnosis. And the teachers that show us, they get reprimanded. It's always mismanaged. But if your money good, send your kids to a private school to get an advantage. The whole system slanted. And the teachers...
Going back a little bit to Fall Forward. I think that's not October, that's September. If I had one word to describe that track, I would say endurance. It felt like a track like, hey, push through. No matter what's going on, keep going.
When they tweak, I be see, I get up with some change, rearrange and again. And the time it feels right, I can't explain it again. I was tossed in the pit, had to change like the leaves on the trees, on the trees, on the trees. When the fall hits, it's a frequency shift. I don't need to be missed, I don't need an assist. I need to resist, just embrace the new gift, cause you wrapped in it, it's all in you. You don't even have to practice it. It's all true. Would you rather have the pride full of lies? It's on you. Would you rather be free?
Talk about that track for me.
Yeah. It was Class Act. I felt like I needed to just make a song that the message wasn't so elaborate and deep. And it didn't, and Class Act, I think was took deep. Like I still listen to that and I have friends who tell me, they're like, man, listening to that just makes me hate the education system and feel really bad about it. I released a song some years ago called Fall Up.
Okay.
And I've always loved the oxymoron of falling up. And so I thought Fall Forward was good because September we're officially in fall. And when you fall forward, you're, falling, there's stumbling, there's a mistake aspect of falling. But often what seems like a mistake may be your blessing in disguise. And that was basically what the whole vibe of Fall Forward was about.
Okay. Now the clothing for Fall Forward,
Yeah.
one of them was like a sweater, and to me it looked like I don't know why, but it reminded me of like a maize, a corn maze.
Oh,
or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
What was the inspiration behind the clothing? Primarily that sweater.
Yeah, it was all about, I was just really playing into the fall motif and making stuff that just looked like fall and screamed and lived fall. Like I was also thinking about meditation. Okay. And kind of like just spiritually being aligned as you go into the fall season. Yeah. So the designs are that design specifically was meant to be busy, but also look clean in a way.
And kind of concise.
Yeah, concise, yeah.
Kind of like a river flowing. Yeah, I like that a lot. All right, so the next track is Fright to Vote. Yeah. Got a Halloween theme, but it's also hitting on voting, which is coming up in November. All right, so talk about connecting those two things.
Yeah, so my day job, what I do is I work for a nonprofit organization based in Selma called Foot Soldiers Park, and we do a lot of civic engagement, civic education, and we're doing a lot of work about getting the word out to vote, getting our people out to vote, getting the community out to vote, and it's just interesting some of the things, the different perspectives people had on the election, and I know me personally, I was kind of getting to a point I didn't know what to believe anymore. I felt like, because on one end, because I got people who's, you gotta go Trump, or you gotta go Kamala. And I always question, like if the mainstream is telling me do this, question it even more. If everyone's going this way, then should you go this way? Or should you, but this way looking bad, and why would you question something that is clearly a wolf? Like why would you trick yourself into eating the apple? You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's kind of, but I knew I was gonna vote. But it was really, I had my mind made up where I was gonna vote. But like, I wanted to also make it for other people, because I had a lot of friends who were like, yo, I ain't gonna vote. This system ain't for me. And I was arguing, I'd be like, no, you gotta vote, man. Like, at the end of the day, your voice and your, like the mindset to be like, okay, I ain't gonna vote because the whole system is rigged and finessed. Like, what would it hurt you to just vote? Even if it's rigged and finessed, at least you can have a clear conscience knowing you tried.
You tried.
Going into that sonically going into the darker realm is something that's pretty like second nature for me. The beat came pretty quick, and then once I started just thinking about being scared to vote, I was like, all right, I wanted to make the song also nonpartisan. I didn't want to tell people, vote this way, vote that way. I want to just tell people, I wanted to talk about both candidates and their flaws. And I wanted to also talk about just the whole system and its flaws. I was trying to address all the insecurities that people may deal with as they're thinking about voting. But also, and all these songs in general, especially this one, was how do you make it evergreen? How do you make, like, I don't want this song, even though there's not an election next year, I still was trying to make music that people can play, and it could still, it doesn't feel like it was only relevant in 2024.
Gotcha.
So that's why I didn't say no names. I didn't say Trump's name. I didn't say Kamala's name. I didn't make it too specific to 2024.
Gotcha.
Yeah, hey, don't know how to vote. I'm scared to vote. Got a fright to vote. A slither of hope. So yeah, I'ma vote. Yeah. Got a fright to vote. Yeah. So where these scared tactics work, make me believe there's some perks. No can't vote because I'm hurt and hate the jobs that I work. My ancestors did a lot to get me here, just to sit and think, who do I want to vote against this year? Listen clear, I know it's sad, two candidates to choose and none are good and both are bad. It wasn't who was supposed to have, the prices changed on grocery bags, cost increase, you paid the least, she's blaming him, he's blaming she. You try to understand the but this the year that they debate the least. They tell you dogs get ate, the records.
One of the clothing items for this one was like a letterman's jacket or like a sportsman's jacket.
Yeah.
Why did you go with that one?
Mixing Halloween with the voting message, I was really thinking of like Freddie and Jason.
Okay. Okay. I can
You
see
know,
that. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really it, and
Gotcha.
it was just one of the options for the supplier I used. There wasn't really much to work with in terms of something really scary.
Gotcha.
So I was like, well, this is kind of, I guess, Freddie and Jason.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Say someone is up and they would take the lead, but if they win, will they concede? And just cause she is black, she wants the best for me, and he's a billionaire with the recipe cat. I'm scared to vote.
This is the smoothest track on the song.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear this song, you just wanna,
Yeah.
you feel like you're that guy, you know? Talk about making that beat go, like, how did this track come around?
I was actually I was listening to a lot of oldies. I wanted to make something feel good. I was listening to like Marvin Gaye, Get Up, Get Out.
Gotcha.
I thought we needed a moment of just reflection, but also, something that just felt good. And that was kind of what was my intention with the Gather Round song, was just to make something that felt good, but then I still was trying to insert the message of Thanksgiving truths and the truth about Thanksgiving and how, the indigenous communities have suffered and yet that's a story we don't talk about.
Right.
But how do I make it come across? How do I make it something people can just feel about family? So yeah, I was just trying to think about, I was trying to make a song that felt like you can play it at a family gathering or something, and it'd just feel good, and grandma could even dance to it, So that's my favorite one too.
Yeah, hey, come on, gather round, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, come on, gather round. We push, we strive, don't hide, we alive, yeah. But they wanted us to die. Come on, gather round. We pray, we eat, we speak, yeah. Family first, don't get lost in the streets. Come on, gather round. Push it off, it's all in your way, hey, your way. Push it off, it's all gonna be okay. Come on, gather round. Push it off, it's all in your way, hey. Push it off, it's all gonna be okay. Everything you told ain't the truth. You controlled by the group. Santa Claus don't give them gifts to you. Tooth fairy don't take your tooth. We were taught a perfect tale, but history needs review. The pain behind the feast that they never showed. Come on,
So what kind of emotions went into Gather Round?
So I made that. That was when I was late on. It was I didn't get it out till like towards the end of the month. I knew what I wanted to talk about. The song, the writing of it came about easy. Because once I had the beat, it was just kind of like, okay, this is
Plug and play it.
I just like, okay, this is the vibe. I could almost just freestyle this.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to think about what Thanksgiving could feel like for a Native American person. And thinking about them gathering around and having, a family experience, but also how stories are forgotten. A lot of the song is about that, how history is forgotten and stories are forgotten, but also how family is the most important thing. And, family first, don't get lost in the streets. I mean, we all have family members who get lost in the streets. I don't know too many songs where it's just blatantly telling you like, hey, don't get lost in the streets. Like the family's the most important thing. And so I was like, it was just trying to make a song with a good message, but also just felt good and didn't feel like it was preaching to you. You know what I mean?
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
That one's playing on loop all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, untold, the truth is untold. Truth's untold, the truth is untold. Gather, stay with me. Say to me, for these voices get erased from me.
Now, the last track on the song is, on the project is Under the Mistletoe.
Yeah.
I had a really tough time deciphering the meaning behind this song, because it almost seems as if you're talking to a specific idea or a specific person Yeah, it sounds like you're telling a story about putting a puzzle piece together, but the audience isn't able, well, I wasn't personally able to see the puzzle piece.
Yeah.
I could hear the pieces, but I wasn't able to actually see them. What was the theme behind Under the Mistletoe? You're searching for something or trying to gain something.
Well, so the idea with that was 12 Days of Christmas.
Okay.
And you know how in the 12 Days of Christmas song, they count down on the first day and then the second, and they go all the way up to 12. That was the idea on how to make I was like, all right, I'm gonna go that angle, but how can I make it about love? And part of it is kind of vague, but at the end it's like, so in the beginning it's like you find this person, you find out they ain't what you think it should be. Going through the journey of love in its phases, more so like, you know, you think this person is it, then you find out they ain't. Then you find out maybe you just tripping, and then you find out okay, and then maybe you find somebody else, and it all kind of leads you to that person and that kiss in that moment. And so yeah, a lot of it was vague, more metaphorical. Because that was a tough one to write because I was trying the 12 Days of Christmas, but also making it rhyme and making it flow with a beat. And then also I was struggling with the beat too because I'm like, I don't really know. I was trying to listen to different Christmas songs and I made like 3 or 4 beats that just didn't hit. Then I finally pulled elements together from the beats I made. And like part of it,
that makes sense.
I sampled like, there's like a part in the beat where it's like, I sampled the first day of Christmas, true love meant to me, now it's distorted in there. Like if you go back and when you go back and listen to it, you'll be able to pick it out now because I told you. But like, I kind of struggled with that one. Also, it was the last one and it was kind of like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. I was like, man, I'm just trying to get this over with. And I knew I needed to get it out before Christmas. So, it was more so thinking about the journey of love because I really thought about what direction I wanted to go for the Christmas one. I knew I didn't want to go too deep with it, but I also thought it would be cool because a lot of the Christmas songs when I was kind of doing research and listening to other Christmas songs, a lot of Christmas songs be about love,
right.
Whether it's love of Mama kissing Santa Claus or it's more so about that bond with that either your family or that person during the Christmas season. So that was kind of thinking Under the Mistletoe.
Yeah, I guess a proper description for me personally would have been it sounded like a scavenger hunt. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got from it. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe.
Was it obvious that it was the 12 Days of Christmas?
Oh yeah, that was obvious. Okay. Yeah, but it was also I'm like, all right, where are we going with it? Yeah, because I think in the part he said the first day you get a kiss. Yeah. And then the second day you get a call. Let me know if I'm wrong about this, but you only had $1. You can call multiple times. Yeah. And then she's not answering the phone, so now you're you're overthinking it, everything like that. So I'm following this trajectory, like, all right, is he gonna find the gift under the mistletoe? Yeah. I got it.
It was kind of it was like you want to take a route you ain't got no money to. And then you finally think you build up something. It was about day 8 or 9 where it starts to transition, where you realize, okay, this ain't the one. And then it was more so about finding that. Then like 10, 11, 12 was like, okay, this is you building up that connection with that right girl, that right person, you know?
Under the mistletoe, I found you underneath the mistletoe. Yeah, how did we get under the mistletoe? Yeah, I found you underneath the mistletoe. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a kiss under the mistletoe. It felt so make-believe. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 days to call her, but I only had $1. On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 lessons learned, too hard with one concern. And on the 4th day, she really let me burn. Yeah, 4 calls unanswered. 3rd time I lower my standards. 2 found you under the mistletoe. It hit me hard like cancer. I found you under the mistletoe. I can't stand her lack of answers.
Yeah.
All right, so we're at the end of the project.
Yeah.
And once I finished listening to it, the immediate question was that I got from it, what did you hope to gain from creating this project? What was the ultimate goal?
Yeah.
Or what did you want the audience to take away after they digested this project?
Yeah, so the selfish goal was to make something that, like stick something through.
Okay.
And know that I could do that. That was important to me. Also, I think a lot of it, I knew it was going to create its own narrative once it was complete. Cause like when I listen to it now that it's done, it also kind of is interesting to listen to it as like a complete body of work. Because it's kind of like when New Beginnings first hits, to me that sounds so old. It's a year old and I'm like, oh wow, like, you know, but also too, it kind of makes me think about that time and how I was just about to start this project. Then you get to Under the Mistletoe and it kind of feels like, cause Under the Mistletoe is long, I mean, it's 5 minutes. I thought it was kind of too long, but I was like, you know, there's no way for me to fit this together in less than that. And it's like, until we be together till we gone. It's like I started in New Beginnings with trying to find myself, trying to reach for that higher purpose. And then it still somehow ends with like, with love, in a way, and relationships and coming together with someone, but also reflecting that, you know, this love could be temporary. And I just hope people can listen to it and kind of build their own, because all the songs, like I think the most challenging part was I had to find my authentic voice in each of these themes. And I really kind of learned that with like Echoes of the East. That was the first like real tough one where I was like, okay. And then I realized going through each of the other themes after that I had to approach the song like there was a balance in between being like representing society, representing people, representing the world around you, and trying to capture that, but also like capturing your voice with it. Because I don't think, and that's what I kind of learned through this, is you can't make art. I think art has to, the artist plays a huge role in what that art comes out to be and their perspective in it. And it was just really, listening to it now, it feels like when I compare it to my other music or older stuff I've done where the goal was not, it was just making music for me. It's really kind of, I guess I noticed it's very clear and it's almost a different sound. And I think this year I've already like promised myself, like I want to do a lot more collaborative stuff this year.
Gotcha.
And do more and not such, I'm not doing this year. Now 2026, I want to revisit it.
Okay.
And I want to do it again, but at that time the world's going to change, there'll be new themes and all that. But yeah, I guess it was kind of, I don't know, I hope people are inspired. That's always my number one, to me that's the number one important thing. I think every artist should aim to inspire. I think art's purpose is to inspire. So I hope I at least get people thinking different about these different topics, and at least kind of questioning their stance on some of these different topics. And just enjoying it, you know?
So at the beginning of the track, you spoke about feeling desensitized, not feeling anything, feeling numb. By the end of this track, when we're under the mistletoe, we found some variation of love. Do you think that feeling of numbness, did you feel like you overcame that by the end of this project?
And there's a lot, and I didn't really, when we were talking, you told me a lot of it felt like relationships. You noticed the relationships throughout, various relationships in each song, and that was something I didn't notice, but I do think it's true. I think there's a lot of things that I had to, I guess, I just had to let go of through this whole process. Like everything from knowing it's okay to make a song with a positive message and still trying to make it appealing. Making songs that challenge your views or challenge your understanding of, how you may perceive what it means to be an ally, to people of like LGBTQ community and really just taking a stand for that unapologetically, or knowing what it, or really just embracing your love for your woman on a song for the whole world to see. Like I feel like I really was vulnerable and put myself out there with this whole thing. Yeah. And there were times where I would have that fear. And like you said, at New Beginnings, there were times where I'd be like, man, am I really doing this? But what gave me strength to still put the song out or still go through with it was because I had already started and I had already made songs. I'm like, man, well, there may be moments I would go back and listen to a song that was already out, already posted it up and everything. I'm like, man, that's kind of like made me cringe a little bit. And, just now I feel very liberated. I feel I feel free. I feel super free in my work. I feel free. I feel like I know what I'm doing. I've always struggled to understand that because Vibes and Virtues as a brand was an attempt to create an umbrella for what I like to do, which ultimately I like to make music, but to me, I think about even music deeper than just music. And that's why there's all kind of the puzzle pieces and stuff associated with the whole project. Cause I want to challenge people to think differently about music and how, and really think about music the same way you could think about fine art. Because to me, they're very similar. And that's been something I've been driven by for the past, 7-8 years, but I just haven't known how to share that with people and I've always kind of felt I had to decide, are you gonna do this, do that? So yeah, I feel like I finally understand that and I've created a way for me to get out everything that's going on up here, a platform for me to get that out.
Cool. Yeah. All right, man. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed talking to you about this project. It was a blast listening to it. It is a great project, and I'm not just saying that because I know you. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed the project. It was a blast listening to it. You did give me a key card. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Did you want to discuss?
Yes.
The keychain?
So the keychain, the Wildcard keychain, this is your portal into all things Wildcard. This is not just a music project. The Wildcard is an evolving project that combines music, combines art, also is integrated into the card game, the Vibes and Virtues card game. This is connected to an NFT. There's only 200 of these keychains made. Each year I'll put out a new one to recap that previous year. So in 2025, there'll be another keychain design. It's connected to an NFT. This keychain's NFC enabled, so when you tap your phone on it, it brings up the Wildcard landing page, and it's basically an online community for all things Wildcard. Wildcard is also integrated in all future Vibes and Virtues card games, which are going to be released really shortly, actually. It's just think about it as your way to. I'm trying to merge the physical and the digital worlds together. The NFT associated with this and everything is going to give access to a ton of future experiences and things that I'm working on. And not only, it's a digital asset. So like, yes, this keychain, when I put it out, it may be $20 with the NFT, but like, again, these are limited. There's only 200 of these. So let's say Amar's keychain, you know, he wants to sell it 10 years later and it's worth $20,000. It's because he has that NFT connected to it, that digital certification, and he can trade it off to somebody, you know. So that's really what this is about. This next year, I'm still keeping the Wildcard project going, but it's gonna be, I'm taking these same themes and I'm gonna make a piece of visual art connected to each theme. So January is the first painting I'm working on. It's gonna be related to new beginnings, and I'm gonna carry that on through the new year. So.
All right. Well, we're excited to see what's next. We're excited about this project and every endeavor that you're diving into. So thank you for your time. Thank you for expounding on this extremely intimate project with us. Thank you.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Prancer and love it when I get a chance to. How did we get the mistletoe? On the 5th day, she gave me fake. 5 doubts I couldn't shake. 4 calls wouldn't take. 3rd time I wouldn't break. 2 plans to build up strength. 1 kiss I knew was fake, so I gave up on the date. On the 6th day of Christmas, my true love made me think. 6 dreams had got away, and 5 doubts they wouldn't stay. Still 4 calls unanswered. 3rd time I lowered my standards. 2 plans that missed the mark, and 1 kiss that lost its spark. Yeah, I found you under the mistletoe. On day 7, she left me in the dark. I found you under the mistletoe. 7 truths, they was tearing me apart. How did we get under the mistletoe? 6 dreams had got away. 5 doubts began to fade. How did we get